Mississippi Valley State University's marching band got invited to perform, let's hold on to our seats, at the upcoming presidential inauguration.
Mississippi Valley State University marching band, step to the front, because I heard that you all were invited to Inauguration Day. So go hang out with the Orange Menace on January 20th, and you have a GoFundMe to raise money. Never mind this Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday weekend to commemorate his birthday. Never mind that Orange Menace Mussolini is doing everything he can to dismantle the Department of Education, to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, to dismantle Black and Brown scholarship programs, and to dismantle funding for HBCUs, which you are one of.
At this point, nothing can make Donald Trump win. At this point, this man will always be the racist because of what the media has portrayed him to be. If you haven't heard, Trump wants an HBCU to perform at his inauguration, and people are refusing to donate to them simply because it's Trump.
But Tennessee State University trying to claw itself out of financial turmoil. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. Yesterday, the school announced 114 layoffs amid its ongoing financial crisis. University leaders admit they wouldn't have been able to make payroll this month had it not been for the state's help.
I told you months ago about Tennessee State University, what was happening when it came to funding there. One of the issues that the state determined, they were owed some more than $500 million. But Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, is only giving them $250 million, but also there are some restrictions as to how they can actually spend the money. Now a number of people on social media talking about how Tennessee wants to take over Tennessee State University.
Man, we have a lot to talk about. Mississippi Valley State University has been invited to perform at President Trump's inauguration. Congratulations, guys. But there's been a lot of commentary and backlash for them actually accepting this invitation. We want to talk about not only the backlash, but also the commentary. Number two, guys, Tennessee State University. There's a lot of questions around their funding crisis. Number one, how the president and the board has been running operations over the years. And number two, the state of Tennessee. Where is their damn money at? Man, let's dive in these topics, man. Bring your pencil pad. Let's get in this thing. You see that thing, baby? Let's get it and let's go.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole time, don't we? This our money can't slow down. Money won't slow down. Why they party? I'm in here grinding. Money I'm stacking. Why they rock diamonds? I can't relate to them, ain't my shit common. I set a goal for me 2 or 3 commas. 7 figures, 8 figures to 9 figures. On a slow pace to get rich quick. Same time we just think different. Cause when you make it, it hit different.
What it do, y'all? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another edition of the Accountable Podcast every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. CST. If you could, guys, if you like what you hear, and share, like, and subscribe. And there's a little bell there, guys. No matter what platform you're on, hey, click on that thing so each and every time I go live, you'll be able to hear your partner kind of look at some things in a little bit of a wise perspective, guys. This is going to be a really good one, guys. So let's dive into this one fairly quickly. All right, guys. You know me. I am a person that when I actually see something, my whole thing is how, if it's unrighteous or not in a way that's edifying to everybody in the proper context, I'm going to call it out, right? We're going to talk about that thing, right? And I welcome the exchange, right? And I expect most likely I'll probably get some type of commentary in the comment section. It's all good, baby. Bring that damn thing on. Let's go and get it in real fast. But let's dive into this real quickly, man. Yo, guys, I don't know if you guys saw this, but hey, we in the next 11 days, will have a new president, President Donald J. Trump. He's the 45th and soon to be the 47th president of the United States on the election. Right? Now, here is the thing about it, is he invited, this is going to be for the second time, an HBCU school, Mississippi Valley State Marching Band University. They're part of the SWAC conference, right? And they, I ain't gonna lie to you, they're really financially strapped out there, really where they're located at. Got a lot of close friends there that know this university very well and what's going on behind the scenes financially. They are financially strapped a lot, right? And that's kind of the story for a lot of HBCUs. Financially, they're struggling, so to speak. It's year to year, right? And there's some reasons behind it, and we get into that as well. Don't worry, your partner got you. But they were invited to perform at the inauguration for President Donald Trump, right? Again, this is the second HBCU. Cool, rocking with it. Great. He invited somebody to go out there. Now, what they did was they actually had a GoFundMe for this. Now, there's been some backlash about this, right? And I'm going to try to bring up the GoFundMe real fast for them. And I'm going to probably most likely read it. There's been a lot of backlash on this invitation, right? But before we get into the backlash, guys, let's listen to the initial commentary on the announcement of the Mississippi Valley State Band being invited to perform at the inaugurations. That's a phenomenal opportunity. You're on the world stage. Everybody and their mama, sister, cousin, daddy, uncle, them on every corner of the globe will be able to see you perform. Great opportunity for this band. Phenomenal opportunities for this band. And I'll say up front, if President Biden or Vice President Harris invited me to come to the inauguration, to a function, even though I didn't vote for neither one of them, I'm going to go. Why? It's the office of the presidency. I'm respecting the office, right? And the office of the vice presidency. It's the executive branch of our government. There's an invitation to go up there. I'm going, baby. I'm going to be right there front and center saying, what it do, Joe? How you feel, Madam Vice President? I am, because I'm respecting the office, right? But let's see the initial commentary on this invitation. It was kind of surprising to me, but don't you worry. We're going to pack it together. Let's dive into this real quickly, guys, and see what's going on here, guys. And then we'll kind of begin to talk a little bit more. All right, here we go. Let's get it in.
The Mississippi Valley State University's marching band got invited to perform. Yeah. Let's hold on to our seats at the upcoming presidential inauguration. The band, the Mean Green Marching Machine, will perform apparently at the 60th presidential inauguration parade in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. Yeah. And of course, the Delta Devil Band has played on several stages, big stages over the years, including NBA games, the Rose Bowl parade, the New Orleans Mardi Gras parades. They don't play down there in Louisiana, and the National Show Band Battle of the Bands. You know, it's become a big thing, particularly in recent years. The band is apparently soliciting, in fact, I did see that, the band is soliciting donations to make this opportunity possible for students. But is this a good thing? Let's talk about this, brothers. Matt.
So hold on one second. So what we see right now, guys, and what I'm doing right now is I'm actually going to find that GoFundMe, because I want you guys to hear how it's unpacked, and then we're going to measure that against the GoFundMe itself. So before we do that, give me 1 second. I thought I had it. GoFundMe, Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI Valley State. All right, here we go. Come on now. Oh, here, so we can actually read it. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, hold on. Let's get to it real fast, and then we'll actually read it directly from them. Okay, here we go. Now let's go ahead and get back to the commentaries. Let's see what they say. Here we go.
Good thing, bad thing. Any thoughts about the Mean Green Marching Machine being invited to come up to D.C. and march in the Trump inauguration parade?
Yeah.
It's a bittersweet thing because, of course, what college kid doesn't want the opportunity to perform for the president? The problem is it's going to be this president. That's the bad part about it. But it sounds like it's a great opportunity for them, for the school. And I hope despite the person in the White House, they're able to really revel in the honor of being, asked to perform in an inaugural parade. But again, I wouldn't want to do it for this guy. So that's the bittersweet part of it.
Why would you want to do it for the office of the presidency? The office. I don't understand why this is a bad thing. I understand when he says bittersweet because he most likely has voted for Kamala Harris, and that's fine. Vote for who you want to vote for. But we ain't trying to hear your feelings, Big Dog. We're trying to hear about the school. This is it. Now, he did say it's a credible opportunity for the kids, and leave it right there. Leave it right there. Right there. So there we go. Let's keep going, guys. So we got that. Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mike, what you think, brother?
It'd be like performing at a Klan rally.
What?
That's not, I mean.
What? So now, performing at the inauguration for President Donald Trump is like performing at a Klan rally. That's what we doing now. We going now. Let's keep going, y'all. So, but not the. Hold on, we ain't going there. Hold it. And the
honor.
laughing.
I mean, okay, yeah. If it was just to be invited to perform for a president in the inauguration, but this is an anti-black president who's gone on record referring to nations like Haiti as S-hole countries, who spread lies about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, who said.
So did this brother at all say anything about Joe Biden and the crime bill when he was inaugurated and he had this black bands and black individuals, black women and men out there singing? Did you say anything about his bill? What about the Democrat Party actually being founders of the KKK? What about Joe Biden actually being best friend with the Grand Kleagle of the Ku Klux Klan? You know, Robert Byrd. Where is that commentary at? I mean, how we going to? And then what happens is you take President Trump stuff out of context here. Like, what is this? Why is it becoming about you and not the kids? Not the kids. I ain't saying anything at all about the young lady that sung beautifully at President Joe Biden's inauguration. Hey, baby, sing. Do what you got to do. I didn't vote for Joe Biden, but he won. He was president, right? This ain't anything about the HBCU that was actually performing that. No. Why? Because it's about the kids, the opportunity to be on the global stage and what opportunities can be opened up for you being on that stage. Like, keep it going, y'all. This is, boy.
He's going to unleash the police, who brought back the federal death penalty the last 6 months he was in office and executed 13 people, including 5 black people. I mean, what
is this?
It'd be like performing at a Klan rally. I mean,
I'm done with that dude, man. I mean, come on, bro, man. Man, take your receipt. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. Let me bring it back in because I was finna do this. Yeah, let me get back in. I'm sorry. Whoo. Okay, now, y'all, that's one. So as you can see, there's a lot of commentary behind just Mississippi Valley State actually performing it. Now let's do something real quickly, y'all. Let's go ahead and actually read. Right? Go ahead and actually read. But hold on, before we go there, let's go to some other commentary. All right, we got some more commentary going on, y'all, real fast. Don't you worry about it. Here we go. Where we go? Give me one. Here we go, y'all. Let's get back to it. Now, here's some more commentary, guys. Now let's listen to this young lady. She has some thoughts about Mississippi Valley State just being invited. Let's see what she got to say. To see.
Valley State University Marching Band. Step to the front.
Okay.
Because I heard that you all were invited to Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
So go hang out with the Orange Menace, on January 20th.
Huh?
And you have a GoFundMe to raise money.
What?
Never mind as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday weekend to commemorate his birthday.
Okay.
Never mind that Orange Menace Mussolini is doing everything he can to dismantle the Department of Education, to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
That's right.
To dismantle Black and Brown scholarship programs and to dismantle funding for HBCUs.
When?
Which you are one of.
Huh?
Now,
Okay.
I love Black children. I love Black people. I love my HBCUs.
Can't tell.
But y'all are really going to go perform?
Yes.
On Dr. King weekend?
Yes.
For that Orange Menace? At the 60th inauguration parade?
What?
Really?
Yes.
That's what we doing?
That's what we doing.
Okay.
Just ridiculous, man.
Shout out to Craig Long, man, for that video, man. I find on his thing because it's the fastest way to get it, guys. But man, do we see this? Klan rally, Klan rallies now for the performing now. Not even performing for the Klan now. What the hell for the Klan? You know what I'm talking about? Orange Menace. I mean, just the spewing got some falsities here. Like, where's your evidence at for all of this stuff here? Where's it at? Where is it at? Okay, so now we have heard commentary for against him. I mean, and it's been vocal. It's been vocal. And I'm gonna give you my thoughts in a second. Don't you worry, your partner got you. But we just reacting to this real time. Look at this. Here go a young lady here. Let's see what she got to say concerning this as well, because she got something to say about this whole situation. Let's see what she got to say. Here we go.
At this point, nothing can make Donald Trump win.
Okay.
At this point, this man will always be the racist.
Okay.
Because of what the media has portrayed him to be.
Okay.
If you haven't heard, Trump wants an HBCU to perform at his inauguration.
Correct.
And people are refusing to donate to them.
Refusing.
Simply because it's Trump.
Yes.
Funny thing is, people are like, he's still trying to pander to black people. He's trying to, for what? He's already won.
That's a great point. He won already. So what pandering are you talking about? And a large number of black folks voted for this man. So now are they part of the Klans too? The Klan people too? Because they voted for the Orange Menace, as you said. I voted for him. Am I part of the Klan? what kind of buffoonery is this? Let's keep going, guys.
So what's the point of pandering to black people? Let me be real with y'all. Let me talk to y'all real quick.
Okay, talk to him.
Trump is not racist, okay? Y'all need to do some reading. Y'all need to do some arithmetic, okay? And calculate how much he has done for black people since he was in office, okay? Let's just talk about it, okay?
Talk to him.
When HBCUs were struggling, or needing money, trying to scrounge up the change to be able to run their colleges, Trump was the one to give them the money.
Stop right there. Hold on. So we got to unpack that real fast, okay? Because there was a lot of accusations against President Trump on the previous two videos, right? You know, racist, Mussolini, Orange Menace, Klan rallies. I'm sorry, y'all. And so help me understand, because I'm a little slow. So help me, y'all, in the comment section. Last time I checked, somebody that was a part of the Klan, you know, a racist, they don't do favors for a segment of the population that they are racist against, because that would give the opposition, you know, a leg up. And racists don't want to do that. So if that is the case, right? If Trump gave money to HBCUs, I'm confused. Racists don't give money to people that they don't like. I am thoroughly confused by that. If that's racism, give me more of that. like I got to keep it banned with y'all. Like this is craziness. This is craziness. Let's keep going. She ain't done, y'all. Let's keep going.
Nobody talks about that. Not a news source. None of it was plastered on the news.
Yeah.
You had to dig to find that out yourself.
So did.
So there you have it. It's just the crab in the barrel mentality.
So again, thanks, Craig, for that, man, for that video, which is great, man. So I'm really confused by this. Now, hold on. Let's go. Because remember, and now there's some more video of that, guys, that Craig actually did, which is great. Thanks for that, Craig. That and it's people are cussing. I mean, it's foul mouths. I didn't want to play that, right? I wanted to play those two videos because those were a little bit more cleaner, right? So now let's actually read today what Mississippi Valley State actually what they actually said. Okay, let's read it together for the folk in the back row, y'all. Okay, y'all can read it. Okay, let me scroll up a little bit, man. Here we go. I'm gonna make it bigger for the people in the back row because I'm getting a little old. So I'm 45. I'm getting a little old, so we're gonna make it bigger for the folk in the back row. Here we go. Bigger Mississippi, Mean Green of Mississippi Valley State University. Yeah, y'all. Look at this, guys. The goal was $300,000. They've raised $282,280. Congratulations. Hey, loving it, baby. Get that bag, baby. Do what you do. Yes, sir. Now, let's keep it going down real fast, y'all. Here we go. It says, I want you to read what it says. Because remember, folk is not given to them. I've heard commentary on, well, if that's the case, why doesn't Trump just pay for them? Newsflash. Inaugurations are not paid for by the government. They're paid for by donors. Donors paid for that, pay for the traveling. I'm sorry, they pay for the inauguration. The only thing the government is responsible for is the security of the event. The Secret Service and the Army and things of that nature, and also when it comes to the police officers and the sheriffs and then the constables, they're all there. They're there. They're paid for by government. Everything else is paid for by donors for the inauguration fund, not by the government. Now, people will say, well, why didn't Trump just pay for them to go? Okay, let's keep reading. Let's see why they're raising this money so we can kill all of the riffraff. Here we go. It says, the Mean Green Marching Band of Mississippi Valley State University is seeking funds for what, y'all? To travel to Washington, D.C., to participate in the inaugural parade. The band is seeking funds to acquire. No, here we go. Why are they seeking funds? They're going to tell you. The band is seeking funds to acquire instruments, uniforms, provide scholarships, and get other essential resources for its continued development. We are making improvements to the band hall to facilitate band practice. Wait a minute. I thought they were actually raising the money so they can go travel. That's what I thought. Let's read it again for the folk in the back row. Right? Again, documentate. Let's make it bigger. People can't really see that on the screen. We're gonna make it a little bit. There we go, bigger. Let's read it again. The Mean Green Marching Machine Band of Mississippi Valley State University is seeking funds to travel to Washington, D.C. Folks, stop right there. But let's keep going. To participate in the inaugural parade. Okay. The band is seeking funds to acquire instruments. Well, band already have instruments already. So these are newer instruments, right? Or additional instruments. Uniforms, well, they're marching band. They already have uniforms already, right? So better uniforms. Providing scholarships. I didn't know that you needed scholarships to travel somewhere. I'm talking about travel somewhere with the scholarships now for the school. And get other essential resources for its continued development. There's nothing in there talking about traveling somewhere as far as this money is just for traveling. Nope. Nothing there. They're telling you what they need the money for. Let's keep going for the folk in the back row. We are making improvements to the band hall to facilitate band practices. Yes, sir. So I'm confused. I thought they needed this money to travel. They're telling you exactly why they want this money, why they're raising the money. And from a good source of mine, and that person will remain nameless. From a good source of mine with boots on the ground at Mississippi Valley State University, they already had the money to go before they begin raising the money for this. Let me say it again for the folk in the back row. From a reliable source of mine that will remain nameless, they already had the money to go. This is for them to actually make improvements for what they said. What? Instruments, uniforms, scholarships, and other essential resources for its continued development. We're making improvements to the band hall to facilitate band practice. Because Mississippi Valley State University is already struggling financially. Have y'all not seen the football field? It ain't no field. There ain't no field. It's a landmine out there. All them holes out there. They're struggling financially. They are. So this is what's really going on here. They already had the money to go already. This is for them to flex. Go get your bag, baby. Hey, Mr. Valley State, go get your bag. And I love the fact that you guys have already raised 94% of what you're asking for. For what? Again, for uniforms, scholarships, other essentials for the continued development and to make improvements to the band practice facilities. Not to travel to Washington, D.C. We got to stop lying, y'all, and be truthful about what's going on. We got to stop lying and be truthful. Don't be lying to make a political point for yourself. Come on, y'all. This is a great opportunity for these kids. And they've raised an additional $282,280. And y'all, let's keep giving to them. Let's keep giving to them, y'all. They need $300,000. Hey, guys, that is roughly $18,000 left over. Hey, y'all, let's flood the zone and keep giving to Mississippi Valley State University. Why? They need the resources. They need it. And they're transparent. We need it for this here. Make sense? Right there, guys. And down here, guys, people say, "But they'll read the next paragraph." Hey, no, we can't. This is just giving them their pedigree, what they've done in the past. You can read it. You can go there, read it. I'm not going to be doing it myself. You can read it. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. Donate, y'all. Donate. Hey, if you already donate, thank you so much. Keep donating. Keep going. Keep doing what you got to do, guys. It's real simple. We got to stop lying and tell the truth. They need the money for the university, for uniforms, for better uniforms, newer equipment, and to make improvements to the band hall. They're utilizing this exposure to leverage to get more capital. And I'm saying, go get your bag, baby. Go get your bag. Mississippi Valley State University, the marching band. Great strategy. Loving that thing, baby. Loving that thing. Now, guys, we've got to really, really begin to be a little bit more strategic. This is why the next section is called Capital, Strategy, and Impact. I call this the bounce back section.
I'm about to bounce back. Bounce back. I'm about to bounce back.
This is called the bounce back section for me, but I call it strategy, capital, and impact. I think of things very strategically, right? And I look at people's movements to determine the strategy. So let's look at Mississippi Valley State University, right? I love the fact that what they've done is they've used this exposure, whether it's negative or positive PR, as exposure to leverage to raise capital. Phenomenal strategy. See, strategy, capital came in. And the impact is what? New uniforms, right? New uniforms, right? New instruments, scholarships, improvements to the band hall, and any other essential things that they need for their program. You're seeing a real life strategy actually be implemented in real time. In real time. They already have the cash to travel to Washington, D.C. So they use this as a way to raise some additional money for those kids in the university. And they desperately needed it. They really did. Love the strategy, guys. I love the strategy here it makes total sense. Now, I call this section, guys, real quickly. This is the leading with purpose, timeless leadership lessons for 2025, specifically on the topic of Mississippi Valley State being invited to the inaugural parade for President Donald Trump, right? I'm glad they're going. Go show up and show out. Do what you do best, which is what you do every Saturday, and show the world what HBCU bands do. Do what you do, baby. Go out there and make it and make it happen on the world stage. This is a lesson of a lifetime. So, guys, for me, guys, it's this here. Is come back here. In the scriptures, it says this here. This is Ephesians 4:29. It says, because there's a lot of commentary bad mouthing people and calling people names and clan people. Okay. It says, do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. So why is this so important? Because of the fact that, make it bigger for people. Let me read it again. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. Okay? But only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. If what you have to say is not going to edify somebody, shut up. Not according to me, the scripture says, do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. I mean, shut up. It's real simple. Not hard. Now, let's go to the second verse. And then we'll combine these two. Make it bigger for everybody as well, real quickly. Now, let's go here. This is Romans 14:9. It says, let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and to mutual edification, building up of others. Let me say that again. This is Romans 14:19. Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and to mutual edification. If you are having trouble with edifying someone, that is a heart issue. Something is wrong with your heart, with your mind, to where your first inclination is to critique. It is very easy to critique. It takes no effort at all. But it's also a very cowardice action to just critique, because you believe, and it's false, that you are shielding yourself from yourself being critiqued. You understand that a wholesome critique, guys, in love, benefits, edifies the other. So I'm not against critiquing. That's a phenomenal thing to do, because I welcome it, because it holds me accountable. It's called accountability. But if you are just wanting to critique others, right? If you just want to critique others, I'm going to say exactly what Ephesians chapter 4:29 says. And I'm gonna give it Liddell's, my little spin. Shut up. Shut your mouth, but only open your mouth when it's helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Let me say it again. Shut up, but only open your mouth when it's helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Guys, you understand that Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to close your mouth and listen. Close your one mouth and listen with your two ears. But this generation, no matter if you're older or younger, they tend to want to open their mouth first, open up their one mouth before they listen with their two ears. And you wonder why you're easily deceived. So be quick to hear, slow to speak. Then you'll be slow to anger, right? Then you can begin to critique from an edification standpoint, from a building up standpoint. I had to tear someone down. If your whole inclination to tear somebody down, you are very lonely and a coward at heart. And you need your character checked. Put it like this. If the first thing that you do is to critique and is to tear someone down, be okay with being alone. Because no one wants to be around misery. But understand that misery loves company. No one wants to be around somebody that's miserable. Do you? I don't. So those that are miserable, that love to critique and tear people down, you will never know peace. You will never know silence. You will always be alone. Because no one wants to be around a Debbie Downer like yourself, or a Donald Downer, or a Don Downer. Because that mentality sucks the energy out of the room. I like energetic rooms. I like to be in rooms where we can be creative and active and edify one another and solve problems. Not to cause problems, but just critiquing. Again, I challenge you to really, and I'm talking to myself too, right? Because at times I fall prey to this too, right? So I'm talking to everybody, including me. And man, let's seek to gain understanding by being quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. If you do that, guys, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish in your life. Very amazed, man. Again, guys, let's edify and not tear down. Hi, my name is Liddell Bugg. Mastering the strategy of locating distressed properties has allowed for me to own about $35 million worth of real estate currently right now. We're talking about new construction, single-family residences, commercial properties, and apartment complex. You name it, I own it. Now, I know you're asking, what does this got to do with you? I'm glad you actually asked. One of the most common questions that I receive when it comes to real estate investing is that they say, Liddell, what is the best strategy I should use when it comes to executing a good investment strategy in real estate? Should I buy and hold? Should I buy and flip? Or should I do a rental scenario? My answer to that question is, why not do all three? But the good thing about it is the investor that masters the art of locating distressed properties will know exactly how and what strategy is the most wisest in that situation. That's the key to this whole thing. If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money with their acquired real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holler at your partner, and download the ebook today. All right, guys, we're back in the saddle again, guys. Let's go to our next topic, man. This one right here was tough for me to unpack. I made a lot of phone calls, sought a lot of wise counsel in the HBCU space and in government. And this is around Tennessee State University and the governing and the government of the state of Tennessee. Tennessee State is going through a very serious funding crisis right now. I mean, it's serious. They have $5 million in the bank, and their monthly payroll is $18 million. So that's crisis. But also, the state of Tennessee owes TSU $2.1 billion. I know you may be saying, Dale, man, something's going on here. Yes. And there's issues on both sides, on the TSU side and on the government side of Tennessee, their side, right? This 2.1 billion is over decades, right? So let's dive into this real quickly, guys, and unpack this together. And I'm highly concerned by this because of the fact that there's issues on both sides. Both sides have dropped the ball on this. And the strategy capital impact, that section is going to be eye-opening because there's a way to fix this, but it's going to take for both sides to be transparent, to be naked and unashamed, right? But let's dive in this real quickly.
I think we're going to be good. We're going to get back out of this hole. It's just a negative for a moment.
Tennessee State University trying to claw itself out of financial turmoil. Good evening and welcome to News 2 at 5. I'm Bob Mueller.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. Yesterday, the school announced 114 layoffs amid its ongoing financial crisis. University leaders admit they wouldn't have been able to make payroll this month had it not been for the state's help. But News 2's Nikki McGee spoke with alumni who still...
So initially you hear with the state's help, right? I know you heard that, but don't park your mind right there because it goes a little bit deeper than this. Okay, let's go.
Have faith in TSU's new leadership.
Mounting financial pressures came to light Thursday as the TSU financial presentation detailed scholarships being used more like discounts. The school's unbalanced funds fell under the microscope as TSU's interim president detailed his way forward.
The lack of checks and balances is beyond troubling.
Dr. Roland Johnson announced 114 layoffs and a 100-day plan, which he...
So the former interim president, because you're going to say he's not the president anymore, right? He said that there's a lack of checks and balances within the TSU system, the business model of Tennessee State University. Just keep going, guys.
He estimates will yield $13 million in savings. Lawmakers suggested TSU leaders sell its downtown campus, something many alumni oppose. The Nashville mayor suggests they consider a joint development to generate funds.
TSU is such a fundamental part of our educational landscape, and it does create opportunity for thousands of Nashvillians and people coming to Nashville to be there.
Alumni Dwight Beard from West Tennessee is one of almost 40 in his family to attend TSU. And he says some of his earlier family wouldn't have been able to go to college at all had it not been for the school.
We've turned out great leaders all over the world, and I'm also proud that they have helped students that otherwise would have not been able to be in their fields of education, in their fields of teaching, in their fields of corporations.
Beard is one of multiple alumni pointing to $1 billion the Department of Education claimed TSU was owed due to unbalanced funding compared to UT Knoxville.
So now you've heard. I love this balanced view. This goes deeper now. Is the Department of Education, we're going to read it in a second, has said that the state of Tennessee has underfunded withheld funds in the amount of $2.1 billion to TSU, right? And when you look at a student to student comparison when it comes to UT Knoxville, right? You know, volunteers, and TSU, right? The Tigers, more money is flowing from the state to UT Knoxville than TSU, even though the state owes $2.1 billion to TSU over decades. We're going to unpack all this. Here we go.
Beard hopes state leaders will work together with TSU and says he has confidence in its current leadership.
And we got one hell of a board now, and we got a good interim, and later on we'll get a good president, and TSU going to be on the move. At the end of the day, everybody's working towards saving these students, saving that university, and saving the legacy, and they're doing a great job.
Right now, Beard says alumni are also doing what they can do to help keep TSU afloat. He's encouraging anyone who is able to consider making a donation to the TSU Foundation.
So As you can see right there, guys, TSU, there's a threat that TSU can't close its doors. That is a possibility. It's a possibility. So now you got to kind of have the kind of the foundation of what we're going to build upon. All right. So now let's go over to Roland Martin real quickly, because now we're going to focus on the state side. So you got the alumni side of the gentleman who was talking about, working hand in glove with the state and the alumni network of TSU to keep it afloat, right? And you saw the mayor of Nashville said that, hey, TSU is a staple of our city. So there's some camaraderie there from the local government standpoint and from TSU standpoint. And the former interim president was saying that there was very few checks and balances in place within the TSU business model. So we're seeing that going on. And you also see the state government has, through the Department of Education, they discovered that $2.1 billion has been withheld from TSU over the years. And there's more money flowing from the state coffers to UT Knoxville than TSU. So you see issues on both sides. Let's go to Roland real quickly to talk about the state side. Here we go.
I told you months ago about Tennessee State University, what was happening when it came to funding there.
Yeah.
One of the issues that the state determined, they were owed some more than $500 million. But the state of Tennessee is only giving them $250 million. But also there are some restrictions as to how they can actually spend the money. Now a number of people on social media talking about how Tennessee wants to take over Tennessee State University, want to remove the independent governance of the university and put them under the Tennessee Board of Regents.
So stop right there. So Roland just mentioned $500 million that state was supposed to release to TSU. They only gave him half that, $250 million, right? And he's discussing about a play for the state to basically take over operations of TSU and place them under the University of Tennessee Board of Governance, so to speak, right? So really taking away the independence, right? Even though the state is not giving the money owed to them. Again, look at this thing from a strategic standpoint on the state side, all right? So again, strategy, capital, impact. Real simple. Let's dive in this. Here we go.
Is that true or not? Joining us right now is a state rep in Tennessee who has written a letter dealing with this very issue. Harold Love Jr., Representative Love, how you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, so let's walk through this here. Is the state of Tennessee trying to remove the independent governance of Tennessee State and move them under the Tennessee Board of Regents?
No, the Board of Regents was the former governing system for Tennessee State University and other universities in Tennessee. And at one point we passed what's called the Focus Act, which allowed every university to then have its own Board of Trustees. That Board of Trustees is appointed by the governor and confirmed by the legislature.
Correct.
So this has been again. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, so every university has to come before our government operations committee, and the Board of Trustees are asked a series of questions pertaining to the operations of the university.
Correct.
So Tennessee State was supposed to come up last summer because their board is supposed to automatically sunset in 2023 if something's not done, as every university is always given a chance to, again, have their board to come before the Government Operations Committee and list out what they've done to help that particular university operate.
Okay.
All right, I got to go to a break. We come back. I want to talk about the money that was allocated.
Okay,
I
I wanna
saw
hear
an
about that.
interview where Eddie George, the head football coach of Tennessee State, complained that TSU officials were not able to use the money as they saw fit. There were limitations placed on them. There have also been complaints that from white legislators there in Tennessee about how they're recruiting black students. We played the video where this guy was like, well, like this is hurting other institutions. And the president of Tennessee State was like, well, we do a great job. So we'll talk about all of that and break all of this thing down. As we're talking with State Representative Harold Love Jr. from Tennessee, Representative Love. You wrote in this letter, you said the $250 million for building repairs and construction that was put in the budget January 2022 was made available to TSU on July 1st, 2022, when the new fiscal year started. An additional $92 million was approved before July 1st, 2022, for 2 new buildings, $60 million for engineering and $32 million for agriculture. And so we've heard different folks say, oh, TSU is getting the money, but they can't use it the way they see fit. Explain that.
Yeah, please.
So in Tennessee State's case, a lot of people thought that the money should have been able to be used for building dormitories. And in Tennessee, the legislature does not allocate money for what we call revenue generating buildings.
Okay.
That would be dormitories. That would be also stadiums. And so Tennessee State's money that was allocated was to improve the infrastructure on campus, to repair the education and administration buildings. And that's the limitation that's placed on that.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. That makes sense. It does. Uh-oh. I think he froze. Okay.
Really cannot hear Representative Love, so I need you guys to see.
Well, what he's saying is that restriction on the dollars is not just isolated to TSU. Every university actually has those limitations on them because of the fact that the legislature, the state, says that those dollars that are divvied out from the state to the universities cannot be used for revenue generated buildings, dormitories, stadiums, stuff like that. They have to go to the infrastructure. Makes sense. That makes sense. Got it. That makes sense. Got it. No problem with it at all. Okay. So I like that this state legislator, he's actually providing some context to the $500 million, right? $500 million, how on half of that's been given, and how that money has some strings on it, but that's for everybody as far as those strings. Got it. Okay, makes sense to me. Now, let's go over here. Now, I have to shout this young man out because this young man did an exceptional job on this. I got to make it bigger, guys, so you guys can see him talk. This guy, wait a second. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, here we go. Okay, other way. Oh, that's weird. Okay, we're gonna make it a little bigger. Okay, I got you. We're gonna make it a little bigger. I'm sorry about that, guys. Make it a little bigger. Okay, here we go. Let's do it like this here. Boom. Here we go. Boom. Is that better? I think it is. We're gonna make it work. How are we gonna make it work? Here we go. This gentleman here, his name is Ishmael. He has been doing a phenomenal job at reporting this entire situation for TSU and what's going on. And this is going to be a number of videos. I believe he does such a good job. I had to do this, but he unpacks this thing so well, guys. So I had to see about. No, do it this way. I had to do it this way because of the fact that it's so good. It's so good. So let's see what he has to say real fast about the entire thing from the beginning. Here we go.
Let's talk about TSU. Tennessee State officials and the university have both said that they've literally run out of money.
I mean, can't make payroll kind of out of money.
It's not an easy thing to say, but between what I've read and what my colleague Emily West has reported on, we figured, you know what, let's just get all the information out there. The school right now has been told that they need to make massive cuts.
You're here basically to take it down to the studs and then rebuild it. I know you know that.
Yeah, that's going to mean cutting tenured professors and whole degree programs.
The state, meanwhile, says that they already gave TSU an advance of $11 million. And on top of that, they gave them another $32 million that was supposed to be spent on an agricultural building on campus. Without this money, the university wouldn't have been able to make payroll this month.
And I mean, payrolls between $18 to $20 million.
You cannot sustain this level of monthly payroll. It is just not possible.
TSU responded by saying that they've laid off about 114 employees.
We can't cut any deeper in the supplies and the travel. So yes, you're right. We got to look at the people.
Even after making all of those changes, it's not clear if that's going to be enough. So the question, of course, how did we get into this mess? Now, I know many of you have been asking about this $2.1 billion that TSU is owed. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I remember in the past couple of years here, I've had people reaching out saying their scholarships are not being honored, or that they were promised housing and they ended up in a motel nearby.
Our tuition increased this year, and then you take my daughter off campus and put her here.
I'm trying not to, let that interfere with my work, but it's like, how can I not when I have to worry about being homeless next semester and not even getting my degree next semester because of this issue with my scholarship?
It made sense that the state heard a lot of the same complaints. So apparently TSU got COVID money to help them with, any number of expenses. What ended up happening is they used this one-time money to nearly quadruple their scholarship funding. They brought in a ton of students that they really couldn't afford.
It's almost like they forgot they would have to fund them for 4 years.
So this is what led lawmakers to vacate the school board and replace them with new people. Not long after that, Dr. Glenda Glover, the school president, she stepped down. So then we find out that former President Glover signed a contract with TSU to get paid about $800,000 to advise them right before she left.
And when the interim president was speaking to the comptroller, they weren't even sure the ins and outs of her own contract.
So of course, lawmakers wanted to know, how is the same person who was involved in getting TSU into where it is today is still getting paid by the university?
The lack of checks and balances is beyond troubling.
Now that's one side of the argument. The other side, obviously, is about the underfunding, which I have my notes. So for those of you who don't know, the U.S. Department of Education and the USDA sent a letter to TSU and the state saying TSU has been underfunded for years to the tune of $2.1 billion.
In theory, the University of Tennessee and TSU are supposed to be funded the same way, based on a federal policy that they provide education for agriculture and business. So per pupil spending is supposed to be the same. I found out that that is absolutely not the same.
I remember in your article you said UT just last year got about $400 and something million in funding, whereas TSU got $63 million.
The University of Tennessee has thousands more kids, but per kid that goes to this school, the state is not funding each kid the same.
So to cut into this $2.1 billion that the state apparently underfunded TSU, they paid TSU about $250 million. Obviously, that's a drop in the bucket when you're talking about billions of dollars that are owed.
This number came out in late 23. No one said a word in the legislature in 2024.
I think this is where the state is trying to make the argument that TSU has proven they don't know what to do with the funding that they're given.
It's almost like they're using it to validate not giving them back the $2.1 billion.
Even though we know that the money is still owed to TSU. You can make an argument for one way or the other. There's a meeting that's coming up soon.
And this meeting is public. They're going to be talking about their finances, and they're going to be having like a full board vote. TSU students, TSU professors,
alumni,
like anybody can get involved in this meeting to at least spectate and watch. And they're going to have to look some of these professors in the face and basically tell them that their degree programs no longer exist and they may lose their jobs.
Like I said, it's complicated, but of course we're wondering, what do you think?
So guys, that's a lot of information, a ton of information. You hear issues from the school, directly from them saying that, hey, there's no checks and balances in place within the TSU system. And then you hear the comptroller, right, saying that, hey, you can't sustain an $18 to $20 million payroll per month, right? And the school saying, we agree, but they've made some cuts. So then you hear the state legislature saying, wait a minute, you guys got through this bloated payroll and you want us to give you more money, but you've shown us that you can't manage this. Now, TSU is saying, I hear what you're saying, and we're making the necessary cuts, but you still owe us $2.1 billion. Like, there has to be a camaraderie of both sides unpacking and saying exactly what's going on and addressing both issues and walking agreement, and to know that more money has flowed to UT Knoxville per student, right, than TSU students. Why is that? Why is that? So there's issues on both sides. Now let's keep going, guys. It gets worse. It gets worse, guys. Let's keep it popping. Let's keep it going. All right. Again, shout out to Ishmael again. He did a phenomenal job on this. Here we go.
Less than 24 hours after posting this video about Tennessee State University potentially running out of money, I got a call from someone saying that former TSU president Glenda Glover wanted to talk. So that's what we did. Turns out this was the first interview she's done since stepping down as president earlier this year. Glover said she saw the video, read the comments, and wanted to make sure she set the record straight. So I asked her about the things that we brought up in the video. Like, for example, what happened with the COVID money that the state seems to think TSU used to lure students in with scholarships that the university couldn't maintain.
We took the COVID dollars and paid off student balances. Somebody said, pay yourself first. Well, that's what we did.
So what do you think the state got wrong about that? Because that was a big topic that they addressed.
The state didn't get it wrong. The state was deliberate in their intentions to spread that.
Glover said that much of what we heard from lawmakers were distractions, like this $800,000 contract she signed with TSU right before she announced her retirement. So is that $800,000 number accurate?
It's in the ballpark.
Okay. What would you tell those folks who might think that you're accepting money from a school that doesn't have any?
Well, I'm not accepting $100,000 from them. That's just the amount. That was the value of the buyout.
Glover said that this was an agreement that lawmakers should have known about since they were the ones that forced her into retirement. But it's not like she cashed one big check.
I wouldn't want to put TSU in that kind of position. I was the one that said, don't give me all the money up front. I do it over a period of time.
Okay. So are you still getting paid by TSU?
Yes, but it's a much smaller amount.
The reason she is being paid, and this was news to me, is that Glover says that she's actually still working for the university to bring in donors and help recruit students. Stuff that she says was clearly spelled out in this agreement when the TSU board was replaced and she was forced to retire. Glover said this whole stuff with COVID and the contract were all distractions from the fact that TSU has been underfunded billions of dollars over several decades by the same state now telling them they have to make major cuts just to survive. That's when I asked Glover if she felt that race had anything to do with why they've been underfunded all these years.
There was a challenge watching a black woman tell them, you owe us this money. How dare you stand in front of me and tell me I owe you money? So I'm not sure if it's racism, sexism. I'm not prepared to call either one right now, but I can tell you it was not the most comfortable feeling for them. Because of the government antics that are taking place and all the negative conversations about TSU, many students changed their minds and went other places.
Apparently enrollment is down 1,900 students, and Glover says that makes a huge difference. But I told Glover, I've had a few people reach out, and very few of them say that public perception is the reason that they went elsewhere. Most of them said it's based on their own personal experiences, whether that's losing out on housing or being promised scholarships that later disappeared. So do you feel that you did enough by the time that you left TSU?
I do.
Glover would only say that each semester stands on its own, and this time last year, things were great. Now they're battling low enrollment, underfunding, and layoffs.
It was not their fault. It's not my fault, but it becomes our fault if we don't do anything about it. You don't get a chance to create the problem and then come back and criticize us for trying to solve the problem.
Glover says that she's not counting on state funding to get TSU out of their financial situation, but that's not to say it's not on her mind. Instead, she says she's focused on getting students back to TSU because in her mind, this is a phase. She says that no matter what, she believes that TSU can get out of this situation and thrive in the future. As always, I'm wondering, what do you think?
So hold on. Hold on one second. Okay. And guys, we're not done. It gets worse. So the former president, Mrs. Glover, is saying that the state may have caused this problem, or the state causes distraction away of COVID money. It said the COVID money was used to pay off student scholarships. And so, but you had the previous, not a previous, but then you had another president, either I think after her, I believe, came back and said that there was no checks and balances in place. And she was saying that I didn't cause the problem. Well, I would say from your side of the aisle, ma'am, you did, because you actually had taken over a university whose payroll was $18 to $20 million a month, knowing that you didn't have enough money in the bank to even cover that. That's under your watch. Your watch. So you do have some culpability in this. And number two, was it the wisest move for you to pay off student scholarships? Right? I don't have enough information to go through the books to see if that was the right thing, but I may have an issue with that. And on the state side, you cannot be using this. Although I don't agree with how the operations have been ran for TSU to get them into the situation, you can't use the situation to leverage and not give the money that's owed to them. Like people say, Dale, are you sure this money was owed to them? I'm glad you actually asked. I got you, baby. Don't you worry about it. Let's go ahead and read it directly from NPR. All right, here we go. Boom. Liberal outlet. It's all good, baby. Don't worry about it. It is. We're going to read it because information is information. Let's read it real fast, right? And you're going to see this. Let's read it together. It says, federal, this is on October the 9th, 2023. Federal officials have told 16 states that they've been underfunding their historical black colleges and universities, HBCUs, by some $12 billion. Okay, let's keep going. Right? It says 16 states have been underfunding some of the historically black colleges for decades. The shortfall is more than $12 billion, according to an analysis from the U.S. Department of Education. I want to see the analysis. I want to see that. And number two, it says, and all these states, and of all these states, Tennessee underfunded its HBCU land grant college more than any other state. Now, students want the money back from member station WPLN in Nashville. Okay, gotcha. Okay, it says, oh, what is this? Get out the way. You got it. Great. And here's what it gets into Tennessee State. Here we go. It says, we're inside the gymnasium of Tennessee State University. The school's Grammy Award winning aristocrat of bands is playing. Students hand out free T-shirts and signs that say, "We've been cheated." There's a DJ and some fiery speeches coming on the stage. So Tennessee State is talking about this. Let's go down a little bit forward. Okay, here we go. It says unidentified person. This is a discussion. Do you believe we got the power? We're going to get it back with what's rightfully ours. Amen. Marshall. All of this is meant to hype up the crowd from a town hall that's about to start. University President Glenda Glover concisely explains the goal. So this is led by the president that we just heard talk, right? Glenda Glover, no underfunding. All right. This is the entire agenda. Now notice real quickly, I have not heard Mrs. Glover talk about anything about the operations of the university. It's only about what the state is not doing. Although I agree with her talking about the state stuff as well, also their role. Where is her discussion about her role and the Board of Regents' role when it comes to the operations of TSU? Because that's on your watch. Let's keep going. It says, for TSU, that means reclaiming a staggering $2.1 billion. That's the money the federal government says Tennessee owes to the historically black university. the feds compared per student spending at HBCUs and predominantly white land grant institutions. They found a huge gap by law that they're supposed to be funded equally. That is correct. But that's basically never happened, says Lorith, forgive me, Mrs. Williams, a history professor at TSU. So this is coming from a study from the federal government concerning funding of HBCUs. What they're saying is per student, they're not being funded equally. And we just heard reporting about that being accurate. And we can talk about that in a second. We are. But number two, why is Ms. Glover not talking about how the school has inflated their operations to $18 to $20 million per month on a payroll, the damn payroll, right? And that includes you, Mrs. Glover, as well, also, while having not enough money in the account to sustain it. And why was it wise for you to take that COVID money and pay off student scholarships? Why? If you knew, why didn't you cut more jobs? Or why didn't you lower down salaries? Like, where was the adjustment in the operational budget for the university versus getting the whole people together to have a shouting gathering with students and faculty as well about the money that's owed to the university? Why only do that and not talk about your operations not being ran efficiently? Again, I'm reading the article and we heard it directly from the reporter's mouth. Now let's go back to the reporting, guys, because of the fact that this here gets worse. It gets worse. Now watch this, guys. Watch how bad it gets now. All right, because remember we just heard from Miss Glover concerning this whole thing. All right, let's get into this real quickly. All right, here we go. Now it says right now, former TSU financial aid director sues university. This is the director under Mrs. Glover's watch. Let's see what has to go on. Here we go. Oh, what's going on? Come on, play. Whoa, what's going on?
Financial aid director is suing the school. We've got the lawsuit. We're just going to go right through it. Tanaka Vircher says that she was fired by TSU because of retaliation.
And it has to do with TSU's finances and scholarship money.
She was in charge of the verification where they verify if a student has already gotten their GED or their high school diploma before they can access some grants.
You can't have this money if you've not completed these verification steps and you haven't proved that you're allowed to go to school yet.
It's a pretty important step.
Yeah.
It's a huge step, and they were audited on this very fact from the Tennessee Higher Education Commission, saying that there were problems with them allowing students to have state and federal funding who had not gone through this verification step for the simplicity of a high school diploma.
So we fast forward to earlier this summer, and she says, well, this is going to take at least until October before we can get this funding into TSU. TSU officials weren't having that.
An outside group has come to help TSU with their finances. That very group told Ms. Vircher allegedly that October was too late to wait on this reconciliation process, that they needed the $7 million sooner than later.
And so Ms. Vircher says, I can't do that. I can't just verify that all of these people are good to go. Then the very next day, Ms. Vircher says she was fired.
Why?
Yeah.
By TSU.
Why?
This is why she's claiming that there's some sort of retaliation here, because she says that they were asking her to essentially lie, and because she didn't, she lost her job the very next day.
What is really interesting about...
Why was she fired for? That's an operational function.
Her leaving the school is we just had a board meeting with TSU, right? And the university officials told the new board that she abruptly left her post, not mentioning anything that was just put out in this lawsuit. And they said that all that institutional knowledge went with her, and that's why they were in a financial deficit without that funding.
This is a lawsuit that's coming from one side of the argument. TSU will be represented by the state attorney general's office. It's important to point out that this is a state school, so they would have state representatives representing them in court.
But I've never seen the government at odds with itself so much when it's going to come to representing themselves. We have state lawmakers who are upset with TSU. We have the Tennessee comptroller who's upset with TSU. I'm really interested to see how they represent this case, knowing what they know about the financial issues with the schools.
This in no way is to ignore the fact that we've been talking about an underfunded historically
Correct.
black college and university this entire time.
Sure.
TSU, we know, has been underfunded to the tune of a couple $1 billion over the past few decades.
Right. And we've heard you all, right? We've read your comments, but there can be two things that are happening in a parallel time frame right here. TSU, yes, has been underfunded. The state has admitted so, and the federal government has admitted so. TSU has also had money mismanagement that has caused state audits to ping all sorts of many years, saying that TSU is not handling its money well. So there can be two things happening at the same time. It's just two humongous things.
And that explains the bloated payroll of $18 to $20 million a year. Like, why was this lady fired for? Why?
Happening at the same time. And one doesn't necessarily reflect the other.
So now the former Tennessee.
So again, it gets worse. We're not done. We're not done. It gets worse. Why was this lady fired for? Why was she fired for? Why? Why was she fired for following protocol? Now I hear, now it makes sense when the interim president, right, the gentleman that we actually heard early on in the show was saying there was no proper checks and balances in place within the TSU operations, hence the audit, right? But it seems to be, what I'm seeing is when questions are coming concerning the operations of TSU, what's happening is TSU then points toward the money that's owed to them by the state. There's never any discussion about the operations. And on the state side, it seems to be that they want to talk about the operational side of TSU, but they don't want to talk about the money that's owed to TSU. Do you see the conundrum that these people are in? The buffoonery. And it seems to be people trying to cover their behinds. Let's keep going. It gets worse. It gets worse, y'all. Y'all, we're not done. This is a mess. We're not done at all. Now, here's the third president. The third president. Good God. Let's go get it in. Here we go, y'all.
Shot a whole video about this new TSU president, and I was more than ready to post it. But then I heard from some TSU alumni last night. She's like, Levi, I'm having a tough time wearing TSU gear. Every time I wear something, someone walks up and they have all these questions about what's going on with the university. And she said, I'm tired of having to answer these questions. So I said, listen, I'm so sorry that that's going on. And she said, no, don't get me wrong. I want you to keep doing these stories because there are alumni across the country who want to know what's going on with their university, and they're turning to your videos. That's why we do it. We are not trying to single out TSU as if they're the only university in the country going through issues. This is about helping people stay informed with the university they love. So we're going to keep doing these videos. Just like this one. The Board of Trustees voted to make board member Dwayne Tucker their next president just days after the now former interim president, Ronald Johnson, resigned out of nowhere.
I don't think.
So, damn. So you have Mrs. Glover that got forced out, right, by the state because of what was going on. Then number two, you actually had the Board of Trustees vote the individual, the gentleman beforehand, and he talked about how there was no checks and balances in place for TSU, which was under Mrs. Glover's watch, who wouldn't talk anything at all about operations at all. It was only about the money owed to him by the state, right? Wink, wink. Now you have a new president coming interim president because the previous gentleman, he resigned out of nowhere. Let's keep going. Mess.
Anybody who was expecting that.
At the time, Johnson said that he and the board didn't really see eye to eye on the direction of the university. That we reported had virtually run out of money to begin the semester and was borrowing millions from the state just to make payroll. But then we heard from board members, and that's when things got interesting. Some of the board members said that they were insulted by the way Johnson talked about the university.
He spoke about TSU graduates and those who did not earn degrees as destined to work at Popeyes or Starbucks. He also began referring to this institution as this place.
I don't think it's wrong to say that this doesn't look good.
The board and Dr. Johnson knew things weren't well.
The board also wasn't happy that Johnson helped agree on a retirement package for the former President, Dr. Glenda Glover, a retirement package that totaled about $1.7 million in exchange for her forced retirement. I mean, that was all settled long before this new board went into place. Johnson told lawmakers that he wasn't really sure about the ins and outs of said contract.
I think that's where the board member said that he wasn't being forthright with state lawmakers.
Board members told Johnson at their last meeting that he was going to be the one responsible for getting Glenda Glover to essentially give up this contract agreement. Now, when I talked to Dr. Glover, she said she had no intentions of giving this up because this is money that she was owed.
That goes beyond the bounds of decency to ask me to give up a retirement package, especially if I'm still doing a lot of work for the university.
I'm not quite sure if Johnson and Glover spoke. In the meantime, incoming President Tucker says that he's not going to accept a salary.
He's ready to go, and he's going to have to meet with state lawmakers right off the bat.
My goal as we close out 2024 is to meet with as many of those stakeholders as we can.
And while all that's happening, TSU is continuing their nationwide search for their permanent president. I've reached out to some of our lawmakers. I know you have, whether it's about the current status of TSU or what's going to happen with this $2.1 billion that the federal government says TSU has been underfunded for decades. We don't know what the plan is for recovering some of that money.
Even the board has not even mentioned it in their meetings. I know that you all have mentioned it to us, but the board members themselves are not bringing up this $2.1 billion figure. I think they are more concerned about survival than they are about recouping this money at this point.
We want to know what the plan is moving forward. And so we are asking the questions. It's just right now, it seems like some of those same people want to wait for meetings just like the one that's coming up before they say anything else. Tennessee State.
Wow. Okay. And I unpacked that a little bit as well. We get to that in a second, guys. So now we have the stage to where we have a new president, non-paid president. He will not take a salary. Interesting. That's an honorable move because it seems like he understands the severity of the situation. And you hear them talking about how the board just wants to survive. So they're not even talking about the $2.1 billion, right? They're trying to survive. Oh, interesting. Now, let's keep it going, guys. It gets gooder. It gets better. It gets better and better. I mean, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. Now, let's bring in the state. This is the state controller. This is a 3-part situation, right? Here's the first part.
Everybody needs to understand. I mean, this is a question of whether Tennessee State University will even be able to continue to be open.
I don't even know where to start.
I don't either. Okay, how about this? The new Tennessee State University interim president, Dwayne Tucker, was now in front of lawmakers.
Mr. Tucker, glad to have you with us.
Explaining TSU's financial situation.
As you've noticed, the group here today is probably different than the group that was here last month.
Off the bat, the man talks about the $2.1 billion figure. This has been the elephant in the room for more than a year.
So let's talk about that. Instead of saying, where is our money? Tucker said, well, let's figure out a plan for fixing our own house at the moment before we start asking for any funding from the state.
We got to get a better understanding of how we got to where we are.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what's really required for the university to focus on.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about how TSU can get some of this $2.1 billion. In this case, Tucker said, let's just be realistic here. The state isn't cutting a $2.1 billion check.
We can't go around with a divided community that half of them believes that we shouldn't be doing anything other than waiting on a bailout.
Tucker is telling lawmakers that he needs more time.
There's no way out of this without laying more people off, and that's a sad thing to talk about anytime, but you've got to reduce that monthly payroll number. And you say, we just need more time. We just need a few more weeks. We need a month. We need 2 months to figure it out. Every month is at least $18 million in payroll.
We heard over and over again, will you run out of money in May? And Tucker responded, yes, unless there's some sort of plan.
Until that happens, it's sort of like moving a snowball uphill because people don't believe there's a sense of urgency to get to some of these things.
The fact that the CFO resigned as well.
The CFO resigned?
Yes, we'll get that.
Damn, the CFO resigned for the university as well. So not only the financial aid director resigned and sued, right? No, she didn't resign. She was fired and then she sued them. The CFO for the university resigned? This is a mess.
Okay. Any other time that would be the headline of the story. Not today.
It's a bullet point.
It's one other thing that Tucker said we're now having to manage.
From a distance, you can say it is daunting in terms of everything that needs to get fixed. I look at it as an opportunity to do some things differently.
Everybody needs to understand. I mean, this is a question of whether Tennessee State.
So that's part one, guys. Let's keep going. Now, let's go over to part two, guys, because it gets worse. It gets worse, guys. It gets worse. This is who the CFO resigns. Wow. Here we go.
What about the Avon Williams building? Are they going to?
Well, that's a tricky one.
Well, see, and this is what I'm saying. Now we hear the state saying we may need to look at that as an option. It's highly sought after. I mean, it's downtown, it's prime real estate.
There are, I think, multiple people interested in purchase or long-term lease of all or part of the Avon Williams campus.
Sure, that should be part of the conversation, because if you don't have enough students to occupy both buildings, then that's something that we could potentially consider at the right price, at the right partnership, to help offset some of that cost.
There's a lot of history in the Avon Williams building.
That building is incredibly tricky. There's a whole federal case based on that building. I don't know that it's going to be as simple as just being able to sell this building.
I mean, Mumpower is saying, he's saying a lot.
He's saying get it together before it's too late.
Doesn't make sense when your main campus is in such poor shape to own these surplus properties that are also taking upkeep and maintenance.
Basically saying if you don't get this in order, we're going to have to seriously think about how we keep TSU open.
Because the taxpayers of Tennessee are not called upon to bail out any other university, community college, TCAT in the state the way we've been called on to bail out TSU, primarily because of the poor judgment exhibited by the prior president.
And this is the stuff that people have had a tough time with. Hearing state lawmakers or state leaders say, we are doing something for you, as if you should appreciate what we're doing, even though, yes, there has been some underfunding that's happened over the years.
And by state calculation, they're still owed $250 million more.
Yeah.
And that's why Tennessee's calculation.
Yeah. The state has acknowledged that they owed TSU $500 some odd million. Correct. And they've paid half of that.
Yes.
Okay. So there's still half left.
It was not mentioned last year because we were more concentrated on vacating the current TSU board. I mean, I don't think we've talked about that enough, that this is a painful process for so many people to see their school hurting, that people could lose their jobs, that people could lose their dreams of a degree in a certain program that they chose. Like, these are all the things at stake here.
Correct.
People have said in the comments.
So that's part two, guys. Here's part three. Right, here's part three. It gets worse. Oh, it gets worse, y'all. Don't worry. I got you. Your partner got you. Here we go. Boom, here we go.
Jason Mumpower, who is the comptroller, he didn't really mince any words when it came to what are you doing with Dr. Glenda Glover, the former president of TSU,
who has made out like a bandit while leaving only a legacy of dysfunction.
Wow. TSU officials told the state that they have since cut ties with Dr. Glover.
No parking places, no Titans football tickets, no building naming, completely finished.
Football tickets?
I am. Yes.
Yes.
That's news to us. This is a woman who signed a contract with the prior board as part of her forced retirement, and she agreed that she would still do some work for TSU, just getting some sort of funding from donors that might be out there.
I'm still working. I'm not just saying I'm sitting at home doing nothing. I'm actually working, trying to do what I was asked to do.
It's just lawmakers had issues with the idea that you have a former president making $1.7 million when the school itself only had $5 million to start the semester.
We filed an open records request with Tennessee State University for the contract. They denied our request because they said that the paperwork did not exist. I know that you've talked to Dr. Glover about the ins and outs.
Wait a minute. What do you mean the paperwork didn't exist of the contract between Dr. Glover and TSU? What? Is somebody lying there? How do you come up with the $1.7 million and the Tennessee Titan tickets and the TSU football tickets? Where did those details come from? What do you mean you have no contract detailing out these details? What in the world?
Of her contract, but we have not laid eyes on the actual wording. And now that they have cut ties with Dr. Glover, they anticipate litigation.
Well, it's because Dr. Glover has said that she has no intention of giving up this contract and giving up the money that she feels she is owed. Dr. Glover didn't mince any words either.
So she's alluding that there is a contract, hence why she's saying she's not going to give that money up. right? But when the newscasters here accurately filed a Freedom of Information Act for the contract, TSU denied and said there's no contract that exists. Somebody lying.
No.
These antics about I'm going to advance you this. Advance me of money you owe me? How ludicrous can you be?
She was referring to this money that TSU has been underfunded.
And I think that's where Sexton did not call her out specifically, but said that the Governor Haslam administration and the Governor Bill Lee administration have given more to TSU than any of the other 4 generations of governors before them. And that would have been during Dr. Glover's tenure.
Governor Lee has actually increased TSU funding, operational funding, in the 6 years by over $10 million. People can say sufficient or not sufficient, but over the last 14 years compared to 32, I think that's worthy of a news story of how much money has gone to TSU.
So we have Jason Mumpower, who is the comptroller.
I don't know about that one, brother. I think you kind of reaching for straws there, big dog, concerning, well, we gave you something. No, player. If you look at the adjustment for inflation, that nature, is that really more, or should you really be bragging about that? If you look at the adjustment for inflation, right? The cost time, the time cost of currency. I don't know about that one, Doc. If it costs you more money to operate, and you talk about, well, we increased it. Does the time value of cash equal that elevation of funding? If the answer is no, shut up. It's not. And guys, here's the last one, guys. Hurts my heart, y'all. Hurts my heart. Here's the last one. Here we go.
Sent to the comptroller's office about Tennessee State University. The letter was written by the Tennessee Black Caucus of Lawmakers, and it said that they were offended by the comptroller Jason Mumpower and what he had to say about the historically black university.
It was his tone, and it was the aggressiveness of his questions.
So you may know this by now, but TSU has been struggling just to make it through the end of the year after realizing that when they started this past semester, they only had a few $1 million in the bank. Just to put that into perspective, TSU at the time had a monthly payroll of about $18 million. Mumpower told TSU officials that they had to take everything down to the studs and make massive cuts around the university. But he also had some things to say about the former president, Glenda Glover,
who has made out like a bandit while leaving only a legacy of dysfunction.
So just a bit more context. Glover had already been forced to step down as president, but then a few months later, we learned about her retirement package. Now, this retirement package, agreed upon by the old TSU board, totaled about $1.7 million and had a few things in there, things such as a parking spot, an executive assistant, and access to the school seats at Nissan Stadium for both TSU and Tennessee Titans games. Mumpower told...
Who negotiated that deal? Who gave her that deal? Huh? Oh, whoever negotiated, if they are employed by TSU, they should be fired now. That's the worst deal ever for a school that's struggling. Again, worst, it's terrible operational decision. Good Lord.
The new TSU leadership that all of that had to go.
No parking places, no Titans football tickets, no building naming, completely finished.
State lawmakers acknowledged that there had been some issues with how TSU had been run, but they took issue with the comptroller's line of questioning. They also had issues with Mumpower suggesting that TSU should consider selling their historic Avon Williams campus downtown.
That's prime property. Why would they sell those assets that could be beneficial in the future?
Mumpower said everything should be on the table if it means freeing up some money so that this university can stay afloat. But remember, this is the same university that the state acknowledges they've underfunded hundreds of millions of dollars over the past several years. So why sell their property just to keep their doors open if they're still owed hundreds of millions of dollars? That's the question. Lawmakers say there's got to be a better solution. Now, Mumpower sent News Channel 5 and other news media this response that read in part, quote, "While I certainly respect the member's opinion, I stand by my comments regarding the former president. There is clear and overwhelming evidence that her administration placed the university in financial peril." He went on to say that, quote, "TSU is facing a critical situation and this is the time to ask tough questions and for university leaders to make difficult decisions." Mumpower apparently didn't send this letter to the Black Caucus, and they made it known that they weren't happy about that.
It's like I said what I said. And that type of attitude is what is causing the division.
The next meeting between TSU and the comptroller's office won't happen until February. But in the meantime, I'm wondering, what do you think of all this?
All right, y'all. Okay. That was a lot of information, a lot of dysfunctional actions, a lot of terrible responses, a lot of just unwise decisions made, right? So this is also the bounce back section. I'm about to bounce back, bounce back. I'm about to bounce back. This is the bounce back section for TSU in the state of Tennessee concerning this. You guys know all of the details because we went through it, and then more than half the show is about the details. It's a mess. Okay. How am I going to pack this, guys, is this way. I'm going to begin with TSU. Well, because that's the HBCU. So we got to talk about us, right? In love. And then I'm going to graduate over to the state. TSU is one of the most well-known HBCUs in the nation. Very nice campus, and they have 2 campuses, right, in Nashville. And you saw the mayor come out and say that they are a staple for the city of Nashville, right? They have a legend as a football coach, head coach Eddie George. Good guy, good man, great. Now, President Glover, President Johnson, and this current president, right? Here's my issue with you guys. And Rocky, I see you, baby, on Instagram. I see you, big dog. Shout out to Rocky, the HBCU commentating legend, Rocky Miller. Follow him. All things HBCU football, right? Rocky is the man. TSU leadership. I would say my issue with you is the way you ran the operations of TSU was trash from an operations standpoint. You have knowledge of the books. You have knowledge of the cash in the bank, right? You have an $18 to $20 million payroll per month with only about $5 million in the bank. That's a problem. But yet you saw this payroll begin to inflate over the years. Yet there was no counter move made to address the issue. You kept feeding this monster of a bloated operational budget. And now that it's gotten even worse, what has now happened is now you're crying out for help. And you did not recognize your opponent, the state of Tennessee. And this opponent of yours actually owes you $2.1 billion. Now, they acknowledged half $1 billion, $500 million, and they only gave you half of that. So now you come with bad operational decisions to your opponent and or partner, the state, and saying, hey, we need some help. And because you didn't recognize your opponent, it was your strategy, they withheld capital from you, right? So bad strategy went for capital, and the capital that you got was not enough. Wasn't enough at all. So therefore, the impact was minimum to none. Matter of fact, it hurt you even more because your strategy sucked because you didn't first recognize your opponent, which was the state of Tennessee. So now your opponent is using your malfeasance when it comes to your operations in running the organization called TSU against you. And you saying to them, you still owe us $2.1 billion. It's falling upon their deaf ears because your opponent is using your malfeasance, potentially, as a way to withhold capital from you and even give you capital in little drops, in little spurts with some conditions. Because you ran the operations so badly. Trash strategy. And Dr. Glover, that happened under your watch. The president after you, I think it was Dr. Johnson, happened under your watch too. He resigned. Surprised everybody. The financial aid director, she got fired because she was trying to follow protocol operations the correct way, and she was fired, and now she's suing the school. So now it's more money going away from the school because you got to pay her off. Got to settle with her. You got to. So now there's more money going out than coming in. Terrible strategy. And by God's grace, you have a new interim president. This is the third president who's taking no type of salary at all. And furthermore, with the news, filed a Freedom of Information Act to TSU concerning the contract of the deal that was negotiated by Dr. Glover, for Dr. Glover, right, Madam Glover, of over $1.7 million was included an executive assistant, as well as parking spaces, Titans football tickets, and TSU football tickets, right, all in that package. TSU denied that and said that contract doesn't exist. What? But when Dr. Glover got on the television with that same news outlet, right, in Nashville, she said, no, that's a contract. Somebody lying. You're trying to cover your behind instead of having these tough conversations. I actually kind of low-key like the new interim president, because he said, we got to talk about this issue in the room, to where you owe us money, state, right? We know our operations has been terrible. Even saying the previous president was saying that there was no checks and balances in place, which means that Dr. Glover did a trash job. Not put the checks and balances in place, which got you here, right? So I like his strategy saying, okay, let's work together with the state, right? But we're going to have to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the money owed, right? So TSU, you got to know your opponent and have a better strategy of getting your operation under control the right way, so that you go to your partners as opponent called the state and say, hey, we need our money. We're running it well. This on y'all now. Does that make some sense? Man, I hope this new president has the right strategy in place. Initially, I'm loving it. I'm loving the strategy. Right? To where you see the verbiage of the comptroller, Jason, the comptroller of Tennessee, saying that, hey, we got to address this. Now, even when it came to the building of TSU's building in downtown, which is prime real estate, it is prime real estate. That building is empty. What the hell is going on? How do you have an $18 to $20 million budget for payroll? You have two campuses and one is vacant, but yet you're still paying the money to keep it maintained. The thinking around this is just trash, unless the goal was to grift. And the roosters began crowing about what was going on, because now it's a mess now. I like the fact that the current president now is saying, hey, I'm open to have the discussion about our downtown facilities, because of the fact that we can look at it from a sales standpoint and or, right, a leasing standpoint. Even the controller said, okay, we're walking with that. So now you have the state and TSU leadership walking hand in glove to get a deal done. A deal done, right? Not just TCU saying, give us some money, give us some money. No, that ain't gonna work. You can't have bad operations and then go to your opponent and or partner, the state, saying, hey, give us some money. They're gonna try to find a way to not give you the money. you're already seeing that the state is giving more to UT Knoxville than TSU. So you already know the strategy. And you come to them with bad operations, demanding money. Get the hell out of here. They're going to use your malfeasance against you. And they have, and they did. They still owe you $500 million, and you ain't got the money yet. We had HBCUs, TSU. You're going to have to do a better job at running your operations and looking at the assets that you actually have on your balance sheet and saying, where can we cut the fat at? Right, number one. And number two, how can we monetize this asset in prime real estate in Nashville to where we can actually have some income coming in while we're cutting the fat? So heck of a praise to the current president coming in and not getting paid no salary. Now you got to get ready for what's going on with this financial director, because she's suing you, and you better pay Dr. Glover. Whoever negotiated that deal needs to get fired now. That was a trash deal for the university. Trash. Hey, Blue, I didn't know that you guys read from Mississippi Valley State. Not at all. Man, congratulations, man. I love that they're going to the inauguration, man. Good to see that. But at the exact same time, TSU, you got to do a better job at your strategy. And I'm hopeful that the current president is his strategy right now. I'm liking what's going on, and I'm beginning to see the fruits of that thing to where, okay, now the state is saying, let's walk hand in glove. This is good. I'm liking that. Now, let's go over to the state of Tennessee. And I'll give you a scripture in a second. State of Tennessee. You owe TSU money. Stop playing this game. You've been giving more money to UT Knoxville per student than TSU. So there's some intentionality there that I'm kind of seeing there a little bit. Question. Why are you giving more money to UT Knoxville than TSU per student? And it seems to be that you are using their malfeasance in operations as a way to say, well, we're going to withhold this money from you a little bit more because you know what you're doing. I'll give it to you that how they ran TSU has been terrible as far as operations-wise. Rocking with you. But damn it, that does not at all absolve you from your malfeasance and not giving TSU their damn money. Now, I agree with you with walking with TSU to assure that their operations are being ran effectively. I actually like that strategy. I do. But if you're using that as a carrot to not give them the money, damn it, give them the money that they owed. I agree. Once we get the operations in order, I'm rocking with you. You can walk with your gun at the exact same time. But the lion's share of your discussion, state of Tennessee, has been the malfeasance of operations. We got that. Good. Now, players and playettes, where is TSU's money? Give them the damn money. You see, and it's not a favor, you owe it. It's their money. Give it to them. You're giving UT Knoxville their money. Why are you withholding the money from TSU? And you wonder why, when it comes to HBCUs, we point to race because of this type of malfeasance when it comes to your side of the aisle. If you're wanting TSU to work with you for operations, we can do that. But you better damn believe that we're gonna have a handout for the money that is owed to us. Give them the damn money. Put something in place, a protocol in place to where you can give them the damn money. Stop playing this damn game. Using their malfeasance as a way to strong arm them. Trash. Horse manure. They have a good president now, good board around them. They agree with you guys when it comes to getting operations under control. They'll agree with laying some other people off, which I hate to hear that. They'll agree also when it comes to the downtown campus, either liquidating that or lease it. I would lease it out. I would lease it out. That's prime real estate. Prime real estate. If you need help, holler at your partner. I can help you out. There's players involved, as the comptroller has actually said. They're very interested in that real estate. Great. So you have the audience. Take care of that asset and begin cutting fat somewhere. Now, here's my text, y'all. Here's my scripture, guys. Here's my scripture. All right. Here's my scripture. Let's go to the text real fast, y'all. Here is the text. All right. Make it bigger for the folk in the back row, and then we'll be done. All right, thank y'all for kicking with your partner. It says, this is Luke 12:48. This is why I'm passionate about both sides here, right? I'm going to focus on this section right here, right? But the one who does not know and does things deserving punishment will be beaten with few blows. Here's the focus of the text. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much will be asked. Let me read it again for the folk in the back row. Luke chapter 12, verse 48. Right here. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much will be asked. Tennessee State University, TSU, the state of Tennessee. You're in a space where you've been giving a lot of responsibility and a lot of authority. So you are here. From everyone who has been given much, you have. Much will be demanded from you. And from everyone who has been entrusted much, much has been given to both entities. Much will be asked. So I say to both the state of Tennessee and the TSU president and board and faculty and staff, too much given, much is required. And you've been giving a lot. So we demand excellence from you. We demand transparency from you both. And we demand for you to partner together to solve this problem. For the furtherment of TSU as a school, the students, the faculty and staff, and the state of Tennessee. This right here, guys, could be the movement to where you can see both sides of the aisle. And I gotta say it, race, blacks and whites coming together, reasoning together, standing on Luke 12:48, saying, hey guys, we've been given much, so much is required from much. We've been trusted much, so much will be asked for us. Let's walk together in authority together and solve this problem together. If not, TSU, you will be shut down. And if not, state of Tennessee, there will be a black eye on you and the malfeasance of your actions will be used politically against you. Again, to whom much is given, much is required. We're watching like a hawk. And you better believe, because you've been entrusted with a lot, and you've been given much, we're going to demand a lot. But you can handle it if you lead with wisdom. Guys, that is the leadership principle for TSU as well as the state of Mississippi, state of Tennessee. Let me go back here real fast. With that strategy, that would attract the right capital from a federal and a state standpoint and a private sector standpoint, which would then attract more students, better faculty, better operations being ran, right? Strategy being operations being ran. Attracts that capital, and then what happens, guys, is the impact is, my God, an effectively ran state that does right by where they have wronged TSU, and effectively ran TSU that does right by the state and the students, right, and the faculty to get better at running the operations. The result, the impact of that is a thriving state and a thriving university, because they still thrive in society. That's it, guys. To whom much is given, much is required. We're watching TSU. We're watching the state of Tennessee. We're watching you guys. Cheering you on, edifying you. But don't get it twisted. We will hold you accountable. Well, guys, man, this was a lot. It was a lot, guys. I made this quick, guys. One of the most popular questions I get asked a lot of times, because I'm in real estate development and finances, Doug, can you teach me how to invest in real estate? The answer is always yes, but I do a little bit differently, guys. I actually give away information for free. So we have a distressed property investing ebook. It is free from me and my partner Cliff. It is completely free. Don't want no money from you at all, because in our opinion, we think the next 3 to 5 years is going to be the golden years for real estate investing. For those that actually get in front of this wave that's coming for real estate, you're going to get immensely wealthy, right? Because there's a plethora of distressed properties on the market, right? So anyways, our philosophy is, if we can teach how to locate a distressed property in your city, county, or state, vet the deal the right way, and structure the right way, we will fund the deal for you with our own cash, so we could profit share that investment. And we do it over and over and over again. Let's get the bag together, right? Let's get the bag together so we can change our families' lives. Guys, it's real simple. Click on the link below in the description section, or scan on the QR code. Or if you can't do one of the two at all, direct message me the word real estate. It's on the screen. My team will get you that link out to you. Right. Number 2, guys. Now, the one thing that I get all the time as well also is, hey, Liddell, I'm not a real estate guy. What else can I do to actually to get my bag up? Good question. Well, guys, we got you. There's something called the Passive Income Blueprint. A good friend of mine, Matt Sapala, did a video on the Passive Income Blueprint. It's free, didn't cost you a dime at all. Period. Talks about the top 3 business models you can look at it generating passive income, and you're gonna be surprised by the one that he talks about. That third one, we're surprised by that one. And one of the business models is the model that I'm in real estate, and he talks about it. He uses me as a case study. So, guys, your partner is in the video. Simple, guys. Click on the link below, right, in the description section, or scan the QR code. And if you can't do one of those, don't worry about it at all. Go ahead and click on DM me the word passive income on the screen, and we get you out that free link. It's free. It's a free video. We don't want anything from you at all. Our currency is giving you the free information, right, for you to make a decision that's best for you and your family. And guys, let me go and get this off the screen, because I got to flex on me because it's my show. Dang it, it's my show. Got to wait. All right, guys, you see the hat? You see the shirt? You see it, y'all? This is my merch, y'all. I got that bag University. We got it here on the hat too. See it right there on the hat, right there. Boom. I got that bag University here, guys. Hey, guys, Get your merch. It is out there. I always say your diploma is the check, is the bag. So guys, get your merch, guys. It's real simple, guys. We have a lot of t-shirts, hats, hoodies, as you can see, guys. Scan on the QR code right there or click on the link below and go get your merch, guys. It's right there. It is what it is. And guys, anybody that actually sends us over a picture of you and having our merch on, we'll put you in a drawing to where you can get a $100 gift card from us just for getting the merch, guys. So and tag me that thing at Liddell Bugs. You see it. But guys, man, thank you so much for your time, man. God bless you, man. I hope this was informative. This was a long one, 2 hours long. This is as long as I've ever been on my own my own show for 2 hours. There was a lot of information that I think we had to talk about, guys. But you know how I end it every single time before you leave while you can. But if you see that thing, take that damn picture and give it to your mom and holler at your partner. God bless you guys. See you next time, guys. See you next week. Peace.
Okay, so you did fixes and flips first, or were they? Now it sounds like you're more buying whole. Okay, so you're wholesale first. Okay,
because I was broke. I had no credit. I had no money. So I had to get some money coming in. So I learned how to do wholesale.
And you were doing wholesaling at the good time too.
2000.
When it wasn't so saturated.
I kind of saw the debacle coming. Okay. It didn't make any sense. I was like, wait a minute, how can you lend out to retail buyers 99.7%?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a down tick. It's insolvent.
And you got to remember, in some states, because I lived in Florida at the time, you could have loan to value above 100% of your property.
Right.
The first property that I bought, it was 110%. We left the bank with like $30,000.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
It was amazing to me. I was like, why am I not doing this all the time? But then clearly 08, 09 let me know why people shouldn't have been doing that all the time.
08, 09, that's why I made a lion's share of my money.
Wow. Okay.
Actually running from the cows, I was running to it.
Of course.
Because I saw it was coming.
Okay.
A lot of my business colleagues back then were buying flippers.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was wise for me to share 50% of my profit with Uncle Sam. He didn't do no work.
Okay.
So why would I give him free money?
Of course.
Okay, how can I make sure I'm still legal, but keep the lion's share of the cash flow?
Of course.
So I began studying the tax code with my accountants and CPAs, and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a whole lot of properties. Now watch this. I actually buy a lot of properties. I take home money when I actually acquire it. Every single time.
Okay, you need to break that down just a little bit.
If you wanted to know how successful real estate investors make money with their acquired real estate and not when they sell it, click on the link below or swipe up and download our free ebook, Distressed Property Investing. The blueprint is in the ebook. Stay blessed, holler at your partner, and download the ebook today.